So, Zach, surprise, we're talking about the MLB again. So earlier this week, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the Major League Baseball, at first it kind of seemed like we weren't real sure. He went from at one point being 100% sure the season was going, then to not confident. But Zach, the good news is it seems like we're going in the right direction. So originally, it's a proposal was for 60 games that it would start in mid to late July, 19th or 20th was around the date. Expanded playoffs in the 2020 and 2021 season, and a couple other rules that we'll kind of touch with. But so then the players it seemed like everything went well. The players have requested now for 70 games instead of 60, but it kind of seems like based on what we've heard from this, that the MLB is going in a better direction than when we heard that the commissioner was not confident in the MLB. But as you see this deal and kind of think how this week has gone, well, what more can you tell us about where you think the MLB is going? And if you think that now we're actually increasing our chances of having an MLB season?
Yeah, just to start real quick, I would be more than shocked if a season didn't happen at this point, which is crazy because a week ago I was like, there's no way the season's going to start, but they've come a long way in a week. Yeah. So the deal should be, they said 48 hours on Wednesday. So it should, or sorry, not Wednesday, Thursday. And so so we should be expecting a deal probably by the end of the day today. Yeah. So some of the things MLB and MLBPA have finally agreed to 100% prorated. So the latest MLB schedule was 60 games, 100% prorated, and then the MLBPA recounted with 70 games. Obviously, didn't drop the 100% prorated, but they also said universal DH in 2020 and 2021, as well as expanded playoffs in both years, and no ability to file a grievance. So, I'm guessing will probably be. So they want 70 games, 60 games. The logical thing is meet in the middle at 65, call it good. I think 100% prorated will stay. Expanded playoffs makes sense because more games, which means more money for the MLB. So I wouldn't be surprised that happens. And then universal DH, I think that's going to happen in 2020 because I don't think it can't happen in 20. I don't think they can have a season without that happening in 2020, just because my guess is they're going to do some sort of difference in conference and division structuring, like they've talked about. They talked about all the way back in like March and April. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. And then the final question really is what kind of happens from here? I think a deal gets done at this point. I didn't think a deal would get done even 2 days ago. So clearly they've come a long way in the last couple of days. So, but they're running out of time still. They have to start in July to be able to get the season through and done, and could get the playoffs done in October so they can kind of reset themselves. And I think 65 games will be not a lot of games, but probably just enough. And then a playoff, which I think is expanded, is the smart move. And then but the question is, where does the MLB, they have logistics to figure out because they have to start spring training and things like that. So that's really the question, is how quickly can they get the deal done so they can get the ball rolling to get into spring training to get into the season.
And Zach, absolutely. It feels like this deal to try to get the MLB back is like a roller coaster. First we heard, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. And then I was like with a lot of people, and then like the commissioner said, not confident that it was happening. So we were all kind of getting scared. But again, as you said, not even a week. And all of a sudden now I'm like you, my chances or my thinking that it's going to happen is actually very high right now. But as you mentioned, the universal DH, this one's interesting because this had been talked about basically near the beginning of bringing the MLB season back. Do you think this is something, let's say they test it for both this season and potentially even next season, do you think there's any possibility that they could implant the universal designated hitter rule permanently into an MLB season? Do you think that that's a possibility?
I think it's possible. I mean, the American League already has a universal DH. They've had for years. So it's a question of, does the National League adopt the universal DH? find it hard to say yes or no. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of an advantage because it's easier to find someone to hit for you every once in a while as a universal DH on your roster than it is to ask your pitcher to hit. Like just to think of the Cubs, for example, the Cubs the last couple of years have had enough outfielders that when they need a DH, they just plug in Kyle Schwarber at DH. And if he was playing in the American League, he'd probably just be a DH, to be honest. Even though he plays left field for the Cubs, I don't think he would. I think it'd be an everyday universal DH in the American League. So I think NL teams have players that can play DH, and that's a lot easier than asking a pitcher in the American League who literally has to hit once every 3 years to not get out every time they come up to bat against MLB pitchers. Some of them who haven't hit since high school. I mean, yeah. So I think it's an advantage more for the NL to not have a DH, but I also think if NL managers enjoy the having a DH, I could see it happening.
And Zach, that's kind of what's going to be nice about this season. They're going to test it out, maybe get some opinions from the managers in the National League to kind of figure out how it worked out and to see if they really liked it, if this is something that they would want to stick with for plenty seasons down the road. But I think both you and I can agree we're ready for baseball to come back. It seems like they're going in the right direction. And you already know that once we find out, we're going to let each other know and let everyone know right away because we need baseball back. Sports are starting to come back, and baseball is going to be a big one. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NCAA, and they make a policy change. Again, I'm Tanner Camp with Zachariah Begley, and this is Beyond the Stats.